July 2nd, Earmark and the Navigators Red Moon are set to make history as they begin one of the last legs of their daring world flight. They kick off from an airfield in May, bound for remote
Down.
Earmark for now. Lockheed Electra vanished. In the last 75 years, there have been countless dead ends, false leads, and wild conspiracies.
Sorry about that, Carrie.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. And we are good to go.
If everyone could turn off the background noise, that would be fantastic. Getting a lot of background noise. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Town of Dayton. This is the Town of Dayton Planning Board public hearing / regular meeting held remotely on Wednesday, May 19, 2021 at 6 p.m. Due to the increasing concerns surrounding the COVID-19 pandemic, this meeting / public hearing will be held remotely with no physical meeting location. Those seeking to provide public input should do so using the methods listed below. Video and audio of the meeting will be aired on Comcast Local TV 9 at a later date. A recording of the meeting will be available on the Town of Dayton YouTube channel at a later date, which can be accessed using the link www.youtube.com/Town of Dayton Planning and Land Use. Public input may be provided using the following methods. Contact our office at contact the office at KEtoday at Dayton-Mass.gov, excuse me. Use the email subject line, public hearing / meeting, May 5th, 2021, public input. Include your name and address for the record. Or you may call 508-669-6431, extension 114 during the meeting and leave a voicemail if necessary. Or you may join the Zoom meeting at www.zoom.com or dial by your location at 646-558-8656 with the meeting ID of 988-9483-5364. That is, the meeting ID is 988-9483-5364, and the passcode for the meeting tonight is 456742. So that being said, I'd like to call the meeting to order. And if everyone please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, gentlemen. Ladies, at this time, I am going to open the public hearing for Forest Estates Special Permit Conservation Subdivision, Map 3, Lot 28, number 33 and number 78. Gentlemen, I entertain that as a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion's been made, and there is a second. Any further discussion on opening the public hearing? Hearing none, let's vote by roll. Vice Chairman Woods.
Aye.
Clerk Figueredo.
Aye.
Member Cavallo.
Absent.
Who's absent? Member Cunha.
Aye.
Thank you, Chairman. So at this time, our office manager did receive a communication from Mr. Joshua Glass, and I was to Kerry and Cece. I'm going to read this, and the subject matter is Forest Hills Estates, Dayton, Mass. Dayton Planning Board public hearing on May 19th of 2021. This was received on Monday, May 17th, 2021 at 5:40 p.m. Says, Kerry, thank you for taking a few minutes to speak to me earlier today. Please consider this as the applicant's request for a continuance of this matter to Wednesday, June 16th, 2021. Thank you to the board for your time and attention to this matter. Best, Joshua W. Glass, Apex Companies, 100 Main Street, Pawtucket, Rhode Island, 02860. Josh, I'm not going to give you a phone number out unless you want me to. If you just shake your head, I will. If not, I won't. Doesn't matter. So I will give that phone number. It's area code 401-729-7219. And their fax number is 401-729-7215. So, gentlemen, as you see in here, that the applicant has asked a request for a continuance, so I'm going to entertain a motion to continue the public hearing for Forest Hills Estates to May 19th. I'm sorry, Terry, what was the date on that?
June 16th.
I'm sorry, June 16th of 2021.
I'll make that motion.
I'll
Motion
second.
been made in a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, gentlemen, let's vote by roll, please. Vice Chairman Woods,
Aye.
Clerk Figurito,
Aye.
Member Cunha,
Aye.
Chairman Ryan's aye. So, Mr. Glass, we'll be expecting your appearance on in June, and we'll look forward to hearing from you.
All right. Thank you for your time this evening. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Have a wonderful evening.
You as well. Take care.
Enjoy your dinner. So, gentlemen, I'm going to move on to, agenda item 4B, and that is to review, discuss, and act on 2792 Elm Street subdivision application, reduced fee, project review fee request for map 23, lot 12. Now, Mrs. Easterday did send out a communication this afternoon, and unfortunately, mine was cut off. So, Terry, if you would please read that communication into the record.
Yes, if you give me one moment, I will share it on the screen.
In the meantime, I will read a letter that was presented to the board, and it was dated on May 5th of 2021. This is Dayton Planning Board, Timothy Ryan's chairman, Town Hall, lower level, 979 Somerset Avenue, Dayton, Mass. 02715. And this is a reference of 2792 Elm Street, fee reduction and or waiver request, for the Canavan and Zasmuta property. Dear Chairman Ryan's and board members, my brother John Bruce Zasmuta and I respectfully ask for your consideration of a reduction of the administrative fee and a waiver or reduction of the project review fees for our definitive plan submittal. The request is due to the size and nature of the project. Thank you for your consideration, Donna Canavan, 135 Lorraine Metcalf Drive, Rentham, Massachusetts, 02093. I will not give out her phone number. So this, we did receive another communication. It was from Mr. Delano on this matter, and it was about how different area towns reduce their fees under certain circumstances. And I do believe that under this circumstance, because the applicant came to us first and then had to in turn go to the ZBA for a variance, which was refused, they're asking for a waiver of the fee. I am inclined to waive this fee for the applicant because they will be coming back to us again, which they already have, for a definitive subdivision at that location. So we will be receiving, I'm sure, in the future, monies into a 53G account as such. So, Mrs. Easterday, would you, I'm just going to read this letter, gentlemen, into record, and this is from Lighthouse Land Surveying LLC, 17 Jefferson Street, Taunton, Massachusetts, 02780, telephone number 508-824-6609. It's addressed to the planning board on May 19th. And it's RE of 2792 Elm Street waiver request for the Canavan and Zasmuta applicants. Dear Chairman Ryan's and board members, for a frontage waiver, the A&R handbook suggests that a planning board may want to specify a fee and irrelevant information that should be submitted. I fully understand why Dayton has not adopted a waiver of frontage process because there is little need, as there are very few occasions where it is required. The only process in a few cases is a definitive plan with waiver request. 3 area towns that I know of have a waiver of frontage process. Taunton has a fee of $400 plus $25 per lot in advertising fees. There is no project review fee. In Rainham, it is $500, and I presume advertising fees, and there is no project review fee. In the town of North Attleboro, it is $150, and that was based in 2012 for the last numbers that came out, and that was the latest update I could find. The applicants went through a long, expensive process to obtain frontage variances. We designed a proposed building lot 1 as a retreat lot, and I've done 3 other retreat lots in the past, and I've seen others done in the town, and lot 1 is similar in design. Lot 2 is a lot for the existing 100-plus-year-old house, and is consistent or in some cases larger in size than other older home lots on the street. The ZBA decision incorporated all the conditions that the planning board required with permit processing of a retreat lot filing. The applicants are asking if the board would consider a waiver or reduction of some of the fees associated with the project. Excuse me, very truly yours, Rory Delano, Lighthouse Land Surveying LLC, 27 Jefferson Street, Taunton, Massachusetts, 02780. So, Kerry, would you just alert the members of what the amount of the fee was originally?
Excuse me. So, the applicant originally tried to submit a Form A plan, and the original application fee for that was $250. So it was $100 per lot, and they're breaking it up into 2 lots. So it's a $200 for that, and then $50 for the application. And that was what was submitted under the Form A. And then, of course, they had to withdraw that and then, excuse me, and then submit it as a definitive subdivision plan. To do that, it is $1,000 plus $150 per lot. So that would be $1,300 plus the project review fee, which would be $4,500. So what the applicant is requesting is at least a reduced fee, because they've already gotten the variance from the Zoning Board of Appeals, and that fee was $750. And it's not unusual that the board grant at least a reduced fee in the amount of typically like a Form A, which has already been submitted for the applicant. The only thing that we cannot do is we don't have control of the reduced fee for the project review. We're waiting. I was hoping to have our project review fee from the engineer by the time of this meeting, but unfortunately he was on vacation, so he wasn't able to get to it. So it's my hope at our next meeting that we'll have it. I don't suspect that it'll be that large. So because it's a 2 lot and it's not a full subdivision, this project review fee that we propose in our fee schedule is usually for a large scale subdivision where you have roads, street lightings, stuff like that. And we're not having that. It's only just splitting 2 lots. So I don't suspect that the project review fee is going to be that large. We just don't have any control of that. That comes at the determination of the engineer. So at the very I'm sorry.
That's Mrs. Goulart. If you're on with us this evening, you've got a lot of background noise.
Is she speaking for us? I can't tell.
I think I don't think so, no.
Okay. So I can't tell. I don't want to be.
I don't think she realizes who's on the phone.
Okay. So in any event, at the very least, I would suggest to the board of doing the reduced fee, the application fee for the applicant, and then we just hold off on the engineer fee until we get the quote from them on that. Does that make sense?
Okay, so
How about
we're
a-
not looking at a set money figure this evening to reduce the fee.
I'm sorry.
Are we looking for a set money figure for fee reduction this evening?
So I would say, excuse me, I would say if at the very least, I would propose my suggestion, and it would be for the Form A application fee, which would be the $250.
Okay.
Um,
Can we in turn take that $250 and use that for their engineering fees? Could that be possible? That we would cut down a little bit?
No,
We couldn't do that.
no, because that gets put into into our revenue account for the planning board.
Okay,
Engineer fees get what happens with an engineer fee is that gets set up into a separate account, an interest-bearing account that gets established under pretty much the name of the applicant. And then what happens is any monies that do not get expended. So say we take the $4,500 and it ends up only being $1,000 to review it. When everything is said and done and everything's approved and everything is done, all those monies get returned back to the applicant. Whereas when you receive a filing fee or the application fee, that gets deposited into the town's account, and it's a different process. So it's almost like, we hold a special savings account for the project review fees. We open up it's kind of like setting up a savings account in the name of the applicant, and we hold it for them. And then when all is said and done, we return the monies back to them.
okay. So what's the pleasure of the board? Is gentleman inclined to give the applicants a reduced fee, project request fee?
Can I ask how much money we talking about here?
For which one?
For the whole
for
thing?
project review or for the application? So the application fee for a definitive plan. So technically what they're filing right now, what they would be required to file, the amount would be $1,300. That's how much it is for a 2-lot subdivision.
Okay,
What the Form A is, which is technically what they're trying to do, is $250. So that's just for the application fee. And then you have the project review fee, which is where we have the engineers review it and make sure everything is okay. So that for a definitive subdivision plan for 2 lots is $4,500. But because there's no road and there's no street lights and there's no sidewalks, there's none of that. It's just splitting a parcel into two. It's splitting one parcel into 2.
But we have no control over that, right?
What's that?
The project review fee, we have no control over that.
We do not. That's determined by our engineer.
Okay, so
The
we
engineer
don't really
comes
need to
back
talk
with
about that.
And
No.
so I have not heard back from them, but I suspect because it's not going to be a typical subdivision where it has all these roads and street lights and sidewalks. All they're doing is just making sure that the property lines are going to be doing in engineer stuff. So I'm not really familiar with all the engineers on that, but they're not making sure that, in drainage, I mean, there's no drainage basins, there's none of that. So they won't be reviewing all of that. So I'm inclined to say it won't even be near the 4,500. We just don't have a ballpark at this moment. So I would suggest to the board that you just hold off on the project review fee at this time and just act on the application fee.
Which is $1,200?
Well, typically it would be $1,300. The Form A, which was what the original applicant's intent, would be $250. $200.
But that would just be for one house, though. That wouldn't be for a subdivision.
That would be for the Form A for them to split it into 2 lots. which is what they're doing.
Right.
And that's for per lot.
So what per lot is $100, and then
Okay.
the application is 50.
Which is 1,300.
No,
That's on a subdivision.
No,
That's on a subdivision.
that's,
I'm talking about a Form A.
just a Form A, Woody.
Okay, so how much money are we talking about?
$250.
$250.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
Yes,
They've already paid
it's already
$750.
been paid.
They've already paid the zoning board of appeals $750 for the variance.
Well, I'm just not big on waivers. That's all I'm saying. You know, we give it to one, we got to give it to all.
Understood.
we're not everybody is requesting that.
Well,
And-
well, Mr. Delano seems to bring it up every time, and these other engineers, whenever somebody's coming before us, they seem to know who got a waiver and when and how much it was, and they use that against us.
Yeah, but
So-
every application is different.
I understand.
I think I agree with the idea of giving the waiver on that of $250. Is that what I'm voting on?
Yes.
Okay. I'm in favor of that. They are coming back for a subdivision.
It's already applied for. They've already submitted the application for the subdivision.
Which the fee for that would be $1,300.
Correct.
Okay, so we're just giving them a break of $250.
You're giving, well, no, you're giving them $1,050 because the original application would be $1,300. You're
Okay,
charging them $250. So it would be $1,050 break that you would be giving them. But keep in mind, they've already paid the $750 for the variance with the zoning board of appeals.
Mhm.
Plus, they've had to do the abutter notification, the legal ad twice. They had to do that with the zoning board of appeals, and now they have to do it with the subdivision. So that's what Mr. Delano is saying, is that the applicant has gone through the expensive process because not only did they have to do the abutter notification for both the zoning board of appeals for the variance, they have to do it again for the subdivision. So basically, they're doing 2 public hearings.
Yeah, this is just my opinion, gentlemen. I think it would be in our best interest to grant them a waiver just in this special circumstance. This really is a special circumstance. You know, the applicant came into us originally with a Form A. We looked at it, didn't decide to vote on it, so we voted against it. It went to the ZBA. They paid a second fee on top of that, so they're already in for $1,000 there. Never mind coming back and reapplying again for a conservation subdivision up there. I'm sorry, just a subdivision, conservative subdivision up there. And I just think it would be in our best interest to do that. You know, the applicant, as Kerry stated, has already paid, twice for abutter notices and had a whole 2 public hearings, which is 2 notices, 4 notifications in the newspaper because it has to be done twice for each. So that's the applicant's been into it for quite a bit of money, and I think it would only be best that that we did give that a little bit of relief here in this matter.
Okay, I'll make a motion to give them the waiver on that.
Is there a second? I'm going to step down and second the motion by Mr. Joseph Figurito. Any further discussion on the motion? Gentlemen, let's vote by roll. Member Woods,
Abstain.
Member Figurito,
Aye.
Member Cunha,
Aye.
Chairman Ryan's aye. Let the record reflect that the vote was 3 in favor and 1 abstention. Thank you, gentlemen. Mrs. Asmuta, you should be all set in the future. If you need any information, please feel free to contact our office manager, Mrs. Easterday, at any time. In
I
the
think we're
office,
just
sir.
waiting for the, what the estimate is on the review.
Okay.
Just like you're waiting for it too.
Yes, correct.
But that, there will be never any waivers on that because we never know what that's gonna be and we should not waive on anything having to do with that. That's my opinion, but
I mean, obviously, if it's a reasonable number, nobody complains. But I mean, again, if it was 4,500 to review, yeah. What's there, that would seem obscene. I mean, for just throwing a lot, like you said, no lights, no anything. So I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna complain as long as it's a reasonable number.
well, I think it
Yeah,
all depends on the record that the engineer for the subdivision brings to him. If there's any games playing on it, then there's gonna be more charges. That's really what it comes down to.
Correct. Mrs. Asmuta, any further comment this evening, sir?
No, that's it.
All right, thank you for coming on with us
Right.
this evening, and I hope we get this matter all straightened out for you.
Yeah, I think we're set for, I forget what the date is in June for the next hearing.
June 2nd.
Yeah, June 2nd.
June 2nd.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you very much, and Mrs. Asmuta, we'll see you on the 2nd of June.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. Gentlemen, thank you for that. I'm going to move on to agenda item 4C, and that is the review, discuss, and act on to set the summer schedule. Now, you guys received your summer schedule in your packets, and there's going to be, I believe, just one change that we're going to have, and that's going to be May 19th. The May 19th meeting is going to, I'm sorry, which meeting was that, Kerry, that we just talked about?
June
It was in-
16th. So typically
I'm
we
sorry.
start our summer schedule in June, but because we're continuing our Forest Hills on June 16th, it looks like our summer schedule will start in July.
Because, gentlemen, everybody's received the summer schedule. And I'm going to entertain a motion to accept the summer schedule as presented by the office manager, Mrs. Easterday.
Well, I didn't put any dates in there. Usually you guys go through the dates for July, August,
Okay, it's all done. Okay.
and then
Yeah,
September.
the person was a continuance. So they basically,
Right,
what they did is they waived,
Jazz Beauty is still on the microphone, sir. If you would mute yourself, sir. Mr. Zazmuda, if you mute yourself kindly, sir, you're still on with us.
So,
Thank you.
so since we continued Forest Hills for June 16th, and we already have public hearing scheduled for June 2nd, our summer schedule would start in July. So my thought is July 7th is the week of the 4th of July holiday. Typically, that's the day that you guys take off. And then for August, I'll leave that up to the determination of the board on which week you want to take off there.
But I'm noticing that you still have 2 dates on here for each one of those months.
Well, right, that's, you guys, typically the board reviews the schedule and determines what days you want to take off.
Oh, okay.
So.
Guys, I'm sorry, Mrs. Easter. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So for typically the planning board takes will take that July 7th off. And then August, typically you guys converse on which week you want to take off. And then
I'm sorry. Members of the board,
I'm sorry, in September, typically you take that September 1st off.
So I'm just gonna put this out to the board. Do you think it would be, best for us to meet in the middle of the month? That way, it would give any applicant time to send in applications, any extraneous materials they would have to forward to us in regards to any applications, that type of thing. I'm inclined that the middle of the month dates, would probably be best and not the beginning of the month, because as, Kerry stated that, we're looking at, July 4th week, that's the 7th, that's the first, week of the month. And then you go back down to the 21st, and then August, the 18th would be
Middle
good,
of the month.
and then go down, September 15th, October 20th. Again, it's up to the gentleman of the board of, what your pleasure is.
All those dates sound good to me, Joe.
Yeah, as well to me.
So you want
Mr.
to,
Cunha, are you?
Likewise.
okay.
Okay. Want to make sure everyone's
If we
amenable
could-
to all this?
If we could just review that, then the meetings will be 7/21, 8/18, and 9/15.
And 10/20.
Correct. 10/20, 11/17, and then 12/15. Well, matter of fact, we'll be gone beyond that. So, yeah, October's the end, right, Kerry? So we'll be back to the regular schedule after our September meeting.
Right, so September 15th, and then we resume normal schedule. So you go back to October 6th, 20th, 3rd.
Yeah, then we go back to normal. Okay.
Okay, all right. So we're
Right.
going back to October.
Well, I think we should bump it back one more month, seeing we're losing a week on the first half.
What do you mean, Woody?
Yeah, we should only meet once in October. We're gonna extend our summer schedule, seeing it's getting shortened on the front end.
Yeah, you got a good point there.
Yeah,
Woody, you're the man.
yeah.
It's up to the board, is we can
Don't
come
forget,
back
they
and,
didn't want to give us a lousy 2% raise.
All right,
And I know I'm
one of the
being
things
recorded
that
when say this.
if I may,
So,
if
sure.
I may suggest that if we do have any things that pop up in the meantime that we need to meet, I think we should also leave that up in the open.
Good idea.
I agree.
You want me to strike-
I'm sorry, go ahead, Terry.
Are you asking me to strike October 6th as well?
Yes. Strike it.
Are the board members amenable to that?
Yes.
Yes.
So we're gonna resume normal meetings. I wanna go through this again, just so everybody knows that, Forest Hills is gonna be back up on the 16th of June. And then, we're going to go with 7/21, 8/18, 9/15, 10/20. I'm sorry, and then we're gonna resume our normal schedule on 10/20, which would be October.
Yeah, and then 11/3 and so on.
Yeah, so we go right back to our normal schedule.
I agree to that.
So, gentlemen, I'm going to entertain a motion to accept the changes to the meeting dates for our summer schedule.
So
I'll
moved.
second that.
Motion to be made and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's vote by roll. Vice Chairman Woods.
Aye.
Clerk Figurito.
Aye.
Member Cunha.
Aye.
Chairman Ryan. Aye. The record will reflect it was a 4-0 vote in favor. I'm going to move on to 4D, and that is a review, discuss, and act on the 2-week vacation carryover request of the office manager, Kerry Easterday. Kerry, if you just want to expound upon this for just a little bit, if you would, please.
Sure. So clerical union, we have the option to carry over 2 weeks of vacation. And of course, as you know, with the COVID we had those limited times where we were not in the office and various schedules were all off. So I was not able to complete all my vacation. So instead of losing it, I'm just requesting to carry over 2 weeks of my vacation time into fiscal year 2022.
So gentlemen, any questions of the office manager?
None at all.
Hearing none, I'm going to read a communication. It was in with your packet, and this is a memorandum. This is going to be sent by both boards from downstairs. And this is to the Planning Board and Zoning Board of Appeals. And CC the Board of Selectmen, the Town Administrator Michael Mullen, and to our Town Accountant Chris Laviolette. It's from Kerry J. Easterday, our Office Manager for the Planning Board, dated May 11th of 2021. And it's a request for a vacation carryover request. Now, this is a typical form that needs to be done. And since we voted to approve, they'll just be waiting on the ZBA to vote from their end of the boards. So, Kerry, you should be all set with us.
Need a motion. Sorry.
Gentlemen, I'm going to entertain a motion to accept the 2-week vacation carryover request of the Office Manager Kerry Easterday.
So move.
Second.
Motion been made. In second, any further discussion? Hearing none,
Yep.
let's vote.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Woods. Clerk Figueredo.
Aye.
Member Cunha.
Aye.
Chairman Rhines. Aye.
Now, do we have to
Gentlemen,
sign
we
these,
move on. I'm sorry, go ahead, Joe.
do we have to sign these forms or are you gonna sign it for us?
Just Mr.
Yeah, I'll stop in the office. If I need to sign, I'll stop into the office and take care of that.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if we all had to sign it.
No, just Mr. Rhines, Chairman Rhines. He can do
All
it.
right.
Thank you.
You're
You're
very
welcome.
You deserve
We'll
every
move
bit of it.
on. Yeah. Make sure you go somewhere and travel.
Can't wait.
I'm gonna move on to. I'm gonna move on to agenda item number 5, and I'm going to entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes of May 5th of 2021.
So move.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion in the meeting minutes of May 5th of 2021? Let's vote. By roll.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Woods.
Aye.
Clerk Figueredo.
Aye.
Member Cunha.
Aye.
Chairman Ryan. Aye. Sorry, I was a little distracted by a shoeless foot. That's all.
Yeah, me too.
Mrs. Easter, do we have any correspondence for this month?
No, we do not.
Do we have any public input?
No, we do not.
Gentlemen, before we adjourn this evening, I just want to remind the members that we're going to have a public hearing for Forest Hills on 6/16, which is June 16th at 6 p.m. And our packets will be ready before our next meeting. I'm sure we're still waiting on a peer review from our engineers for Elm Street. That should be in shortly. And we'll act on that when that comes in. What if anything you'd like to add?
Hey, I see Nancy Goulart here. She don't have no public input.
No, she's
I
on.
heard that, Woody.
Oh, she's
Yeah,
quiet
actually,
on us.
May I ask a question, Mr. Chairman?
Absolutely.
When you were discussing the subdivision on Elm Street, the former, I guess it still is Zasmuta property, is it my understanding that is going to be 2 house lots, the existing house and another lot?
That's correct.
Does anybody know what the total disturbance of area will be? Is it going to exceed 35,000 square feet? Because that's going to require stormwater permitting if it does. Is it too soon to know that? I guess is the question.
That's a
It
good
isn't
question,
too-
Nancy.
Too soon. I don't know if they're gonna have disturbance. with
Well,
the-
even if they cut trees, that's land disturbance.
Correct.
So if the total area of land disturbance is at least 35,000 square feet,
Mhm.
then tell them that they've got to get in touch with the stormwater committee, okay?
Okay,
That's the best way to do
Yeah.
it.
okay.
That'll
What I
trigger
can
the,
do, what I can do is I have the entire application scanned. I can send it off to the stormwater committee so that you have it already.
Oh, send it to Mr. Pilling, because he's the one
Okay.
who will review it, okay?
I did have that, because I sent it to him as part of the Board of Health.
Okay,
He
all
does
right, that's
have it.
fine.
Okay,
Yeah, that does, that's fine.
okay,
Thank you.
yeah, I just want to, Mrs. Goulart's correct in what she says in regards to the disturbance of 35,000 square feet. But if there's a subdivision, I believe it's less than 4 houses and does not disturb 35,000 square feet, I don't believe they have to go to the stormwater committee. Nancy, am I right in saying that, Mrs. Goulart? I thought that's what the state law stated.
No, any disturbance of 35,000 square feet, even a single-family home triggers stormwater.
Very good. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. Thank you for that clarification.
And Mr. Rhines,
Yes.
thank you for attending that hearing in Taunton on Monday night. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. Hopefully, matter of fact, before we do go, gentlemen, I wanted to just expound upon that a little bit. We had a contingency of members from the town of Dayton, myself, Mrs. Goulart representing the Stormwater Committee, our town administrator, our building commissioner, and also our conservation agent. As regards to Dora Estates that I believe we talked about a couple of times at the meeting, and they disturbed some land up there to build a subdivision. And what happened is that they never notified the town of Dayton because they're within the wellhead area and protection of the wellhead. So we attended that meeting of the Conservation Commission in Taunton in regards to this matter. And their engineer is going to look at it with our engineer, and they're going to try to come to some semblance of positivity in this matter. So right now what they've done is that they do not have a stop work order, but they do have a stop work order in just one area of the property up there because they have done some blasting. And right now we do not know if the blasting has interrupted any of the underground water flow. So that may be something they need to look at. So again, this has been continued for a month, and I'm sure that the same contingency of people will be attending this meeting in time because it's very vital because it affects the Dayton Water District. So I just want to clarify that the Dayton Water District, not the North Dayton Water and Fire District. There are 2 wellheads that are up there on Maple Street, and they're within the 200-foot buffer zone in regards to the construction they want to do up there with the subdivision.
A Walker Street.
The Walker Street wells. Thank you, the Walker Street wells. So we just need to make sure that, the city of Taunton is going to do their due diligence and, look into this matter and have a positive outlook or a positive reinforcement to the town of Dayton that this is going to be, taken care of and rectified because, we all know that, and especially in my area of town, we've had a water ban, I should say, for odd and even watering days for the last 3 or 4 years now because of, drought, lack of rain, that type of thing. So it's very important that these wellheads that are up there off of Walker Street be protected because it is the Dayton Water District drinking source. Mrs. Goulart, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, in addition to the people that Mr. Rhines mentioned, we had Todd Pilling, our health agent, and also the engineer who did all the research. We presented quite a package on that. Did you happen to get a copy of that package, Mr. Rhines?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and all of the attachments. The letter itself was 3 pages long, and he cited a number of issues that were violations of stormwater management And in addition to blasting in a wellhead area and proposed discharge of water. So we had Mr. Pilling, also we had Jim Digits from the Conservation Commission, and we had Selectman Hull there. So
Yeah.
we had a very good contingent. As a matter of fact, if you want to see this part of the hearing, to see what was said on the Dayton side, if you Google Taunton Conservation Commission meeting videos, it'll go to the site and look for the meeting on May 17th. And if you pass by the first 25 minutes, more or less, you'll come to Dora Estates, because there was one case ahead of us and it took maybe 25 or 30 minutes. But anyhow, I would say we spoke for they discussed and we talked for about an hour. We had initially just planned to leave the materials and request an extension of the hearing. And we did get that. They didn't approve our request that when the engineer for the developer responds to Mr. Pilling's inquiries, that a third-party engineer review it, unless when we go back in June, there are issues that don't get resolved, in which case they said they would consider having a third-party engineer review this. The city engineer for Taunton will also be involved in requesting the third-party review. My main point was the engineers that looked at this, meaning the city engineer who said it was okay, didn't know there was a well field involved because no one had been notified. So to me, that's a whole nother piece of information. And I told them that the developer's engineer made it sound like this was just a stormwater problem. And I told him it's not. It's strategic because those wells provide a great deal of water to the majority of people in Dayton. And so right now they didn't approve the third party review, but it's out there as an option. So we'll wait to see what happens. But as I said, I thank Mr. Rhines. If you watch the video, when they take the vote and it's continued and we get up to leave, you'll see how many people were there representing the town of Dayton by the number of people that got up and left. But there were also 2 residents of Taunton who live in the area, one on Burt Street. And he's been concerned about water on his own property because it's also on the north side of Winthrop Street where their land disturbances. But because the town of Dayton was involved in this, these 2 Taunton residents came in to express their concerns, because now it's not only a couple of people that live there in the Taunton area, but now they've got a town saying, hey, wait a minute, you got to take a look at this. So anyhow, our general feeling was it went pretty well. No, we didn't get everything, but by the same token, it did get continued. And they're going to be working on it. And by the way, the stop work area that is still in effect is an area that's considered sensitive as designated by DEP, because we also get DEP involved in this. So they can work up there, but not in the area that DEP has determined is this sensitive area until we get this whole thing resolved. So hopefully we will get it resolved. We told them we're not trying to stop their project. We're just trying to protect our own interests. So hopefully we'll get this resolved and
My
we'll go on.
question, if I may, my question is, because they've already blasted there, the damage may have already been done. What happens then?
That's why I said we were looking for a continuance, because the water district is going to have some kind of, I don't know, study or something of those wells to find out. Not only that, they've got a building up there. There's that little building that's down there that I assume processes water. And they talked about how that building shook during the blasting. Even the neighbors were complaining about their home shaking. So the water district is going to have something done to check their wells and their building and everything else. And our main thing our main intent in getting the town involved was that we need the time to have this done. And because nobody was notified as required under the rules, nobody in Dayton was notified, that the town of Dayton had to take action to protect the rights of its citizens and also the rights of the Dayton Water District, because they didn't get notified either. So, so that process has taken place now. So now we see what the engineers come up with. But yes, you're right, Mr. Figurito, because that was another thing I mentioned at the meeting, concerned about the condition of those wells. One of them's 21 feet deep and it's affected by surface water. And I think they said the other one was 31 feet and it wasn't affected by surface
So
water.
those are really the main wells for the town of Dayton.
Yes, that's what I said, I explained that, you know, North Dayton gets water from Taunton. And other than the few people that might get water from Somerset, that live along the route from Brook Street down to Somerset, everyone else in town, except those who live in the outlying areas and have private wells, everyone else gets their water from the Dayton Water District. So that's why this is such a strategic issue. And that's why the town of Dayton got involved. Mr. Clunan, the superintendent, did write a letter. And I believe Mr. Mullen has had conversations with Mr. Lack, the chairman of the Water District Commissioners. So at least everybody that needs to know about it knows about it. And hopefully we'll get on board and the commissioners, the district will find out if they've suffered damages up there. I know it doesn't take much to cause problems with underground water supplies. That's another issue. So I agree with you, and that's why I raised the issue.
Very good. That's why you get paid the big bucks. That's great. I love
I
it.
get the what?
Mrs. Gould, I do have a question. Did
Yes.
you receive the original meeting minutes of the first Conservation Commission meeting in Taunton? Have you received that?
No, I haven't.
Ask Mrs. Caledonia. She has a set, and I'm sure she would forward those to you.
Okay,
Their
this is-
engineer. This is the original time for the public hearing when the applicant originally had gone into the city. Their own city engineer had issues with that project and stated as such in the first set of meeting minutes that was produced from the original meeting.
Oh, definitely. I'm going to read those.
Okay, I just want to
No
make sure you
question
got.
about it.
So somebody did drop the ball on it.
Well,
That's what it sounds like.
yeah, and not only that, one member of the commission, she was very pro Dayton, and she was the one who put the wording about the third-party review. Unfortunately, that didn't pass. The vote was 3-3, and the chairman voted with the no, we're not going to do it group. But then the next motion to continue, that passed unanimously. But she was quite adamant that, look, we made a mistake. We made mistakes. And out of concern for our neighbors to the south and, you know, everything. And that's why she was adamant about continuing this thing. And the continuation did pass. So we go back again.
Yeah, the only thing that bothers me on this is that if the damage is already done, who's gonna suffer on that? That's the big wheel here.
Right. If the water district determines that through, obviously, I would think some kind of engineering, testing, whatever, that there has been a negative effect to their property, their water, their wells, their course is legal action. There's no question about it. So,
Yeah.
like I say, the town of Dayton got involved, even though we're not listed as an abutter. The town of Dayton got involved because it was clear that rights of Dayton residents had been violated because they were not notified as is required. And the fastest way to get somebody's attention is to have the town take action. And we did this by notification and contacting the Conservation Commission and getting the hearing reopened. And DEP was involved in that too, by the way. And because DEP was also contacted about the situation. And so between DEP and Mr. Mullen and Taunton Concom, that's how this hearing got reopened. And so that's where we are right now. So I'm not sure where it's going to lead, but I will just say that the town of Dayton is prepared to do whatever it has to do to protect its rights and the rights of its residents, and certainly a public water supply located in the town.
That's a very, very concerning thing to me because, you know, the fact that those pipes are older than I am, and, you know, if the building shook, then that means those pipes could be severely damaged underneath there. And we could be in much more trouble going forward with water than we are now.
Yeah.
That really, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit off the line on this afterwards, if you could.
Okay, and like I said, anybody, if you have a chance, go to that website. All right, Taunton Conservation Commission meeting videos, and just watch, skip the first one, but watch when this an agenda item, which is the second one on the agenda, comes up, and you'll hear the discussion. I think there was some preconceived opinions already ready to be acted on, but at least 3 people on that commission agreed with what we were saying. So as I say, we got a continuance, and we continue on.
Do you know who the
Mrs.
developer is?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I was just going to comment on that. The developer just happens to be the president of the City Council of Taunton, Mr. Coit.
Oh, that's exactly it. That's what I wanted to talk about.
I knew that. That's why I asked the question.
That's a big issue in my opinion.
Well, as I stated that night, I don't know anybody on this Conservation Commission. I don't know the engineers involved other than our own health agent engineer. We are not here to stop the project. However, we are here to protect the rights, as I said, of residents of the town of Dayton. Dayton and Taunton have had a long and a good relationship, and we want that to continue. However, it's whatever comes after it, and hopefully we can get it resolved. But as I said, the engineer wanted to talk about stormwater, and I said, there's more to this. If it were just stormwater, it would be one thing. We're talking public water, drinking supply, a major part of the supply for the town of Dayton. So we'll be going back on the 16th, and so.
Well, thank you, Nancy.
So we're out there at the battlefront, if you want to call it that. I kept getting up because I got up and made some statements, and then I sat down, but then more questions came up, and I don't know how many times I walked up to the podium. And the last time I walked up to the podium, the chairman said something like, Mrs. Goulart, we love you, but in other words, this is going to end. And I said, one more question. I felt like Columbo. You know how he says, hey, one more thing?
I was just going to say that. That's funny.
but anyhow, no, they were, no, like you say, they were cordial. We're looking to get this resolved peacefully, and I'm hoping that all the engineers involved, I have confidence in our engineer, and I hope the city engineer and the developer's engineer take a hard look at what he wrote. He put a lot of work into that.
I think this is going to take a specialized engineering because of I think it's gonna have to get into structural engineering and all of that stuff. That's a serious problem there. If any damage was done on that, we could be in for a long battle.
Well, there's also geological issues that have to be considered when there's blasting, even if you don't see anything on the surface, even if the building doesn't have any cracks, or if the pipes aren't damaged, you don't know what happened down in the ground where the water is. And I mean, it's known that occurrences, whether they're blasting or earthquakes or even a large development, all taking water out of the same place, if they don't have public water, there's only so much water in the ground. And, you know, it's got to recharge. And so, yeah, the water issue is a major concern, no question about it.
My question, does Taunton have water going all the way up to that?
They must be going to service that area because they service.
So they service the auto auction?
I'm not well, that's a hard one because we know there are hydrants in Dayton on William Street. The paint plant for that auto auction is actually in Taunton. So I'm thinking the water lines probably go up that driveway off of 44. So they may have water service from Dayton and Taunton. I'm not sure, but I'm sure they have public water because they've got pressurized water, you know, for firefighting.
I honestly don't recall seeing any fire hydrants in that neck of the woods. So that would mean that they would probably have to drill wells for any subdivision going in there. That also creates another big problem.
Well, there's that other condo development right near the river. You know, it's on the north side. It's gray and white.
Yeah,
Is it?
Yeah.
So I think there is public water there, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
Because I think it also goes up Burt Street out towards Tremont Street.
Yep.
So I think it is there.
Okay. And if it's not, it's going to be a short run to it. So.
Yeah.
Okay. We really need to keep our eyes open on that. That's all that I can say.
Well, the selectmen haven't had a chance to discuss this on an agenda yet, but Mr. Mullen and I have kept the chairman, Mr. Pacheco, in the loop. And that's why the Stormwater Committee got involved as soon as we heard about it, because it came up at a Stormwater Committee meeting. And so, and it was actually brought to my attention when I was still a selectman. I was told about that development and concerns about people not being notified. And so I went to Mr. Mullen and told him about it. And that's when we, let's say that's when we started taking action. But as I said, it has not gone before the Board of Selectmen yet, although the chairman knows what happened. And I sent him an email and told him that if they want to watch that hearing, the site to go to for the Taunton Concom, so they could actually see the discussion and hear what we had to say and what they had to say. But we couldn't wait for the next selectmen's meeting either, because we were trying to get the hearing reopened. And my understanding is you only have a certain amount of time to do that. So at least we got that done and we have a continuance. So we're still on the ball field.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Black. Go ahead, Joe.
When you say a continuance, does that mean that you're just going to be able to attend another meeting or what?
No, it's on the agenda for the hearing is being continued. This hearing will be opened up again in at the June meeting, because we want to know what the engineers decided and what's going to happen and whether or not we are going to have a third-party review. And hopefully we're going to have some information from the Water District about any effects that might have occurred. And because whatever happens at that June Concom meeting in Taunton is going to be, is going to help Dayton decide where it goes from here.
When you say third-party review and paid by whom?
The developer,
Oh, boy.
53, well, the Concom would order it. It would come out of a 53G account.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but, I don't know, I think Dayton should do a little more than that.
Well, as I said, we're at the point, we got it continued. We got the hearing opened again, and we were able to present, and we've got another meeting scheduled. So, as I say, we're still on the ball field.
Well, very good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mrs. Goulart.
You're welcome, Mr. Rhines.
Gentlemen, I am going to, if there's no further business this evening of the planning board, I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Motion's been made and seconded for adjournment. Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's vote by roll. Vice Chairman Woods.
Aye.
Clerk Figurito.
aye.
Member Cunha.
Aye.
Chairman Rhines, aye. Thank you very much, residents of the town of Dayton. Thank you, Cable, as always, and thank you, Mrs. Easterday, and everyone have a great evening.
Good night.
Good night.
Have a good night.
You too.
Good night now.
Good night.